But okay, so let's move on to the matchups in the East. So the first matchup we have are the Hawks against the Heat for the 7-8 matchup, right? With Miami hosting the Hawks. So in this series, who do you have?
Both of these teams, in my opinion, have underachieved considering their rosters. Um, but I think I'm going to go with Miami just because, again, it's similar to why I'm picking the Pelicans. Though, actually, I take that back. Well, well. I'm picking Miami, but for somewhat different reasons. It's going to be more geared towards experience versus the Hawks, who have been dysfunctional this entire season. In fact, they're probably the most average team ever. I remember reading this statistic where they were like 500 for I forget how many games in a row.
Mhm. Yeah. So for me, I agree with you. The Heat have all the advantages in the series, right? They have the experience. They have the best player, despite people thinking that Trae is,
I think D Butler is still better.
yeah. I believe the Heat have the best player. They're definitely the better defensive team. Uh, the coaching is actually pretty close, but Spoelstra, I believe, is better as well. Um, and quite honestly, they're more of a united team, right? Because I mean, it's this entire season, like the Hawks have been so dysfunctional to your point earlier, whereas the Heat,
Listen to
they have underachieved, yes, but they've always been united, right? Because they have really solid veteran leadership as well as a veteran coaching staff. So I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty of all the matchups in the play-in. I feel like this is the one that's like the most clear cut in terms of like who should win. Like even more so than the Lakers against the Wolves, because I feel like Miami is just significantly better and just across the board, right? I mean, the only thing that they don't have against the Hawks is probably youth.
you. Well, I would argue depth as well, actually.
I
On
think
on
I think the depth is pretty similar actually, personally. But I mean, I can also see your point too, though. Like the Hawks do have a fair amount of depth as well,
on
but
paper,
I mean,
on
on
paper,
paper, yes,
but
on
like
paper.
in terms of how it all played out, it didn't quite work out as well. Like they made a big trade for Dejounte Murray, and they're in the play-in, right?
Yeah,
It's just something that they did not expect. Neither did we.
yeah.
So, but they're like amazingly average, and we haven't seen this team go deep in the playoffs, with an exception of that one year when they made it to the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, I know that I kind of spoke about this like, you know, 7 months ago, maybe. I was of the opinion like this past summer that they should trade Trae.
Yeah.
I'm even more convinced now than I was back then,
Now I kind of agree with you after
right?
how things played out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Especially just because of the personnel that the Hawks have, right? They have so many lanky, good defenders. They have a lot of talent. And for me personally, I just feel like Quinn Snyder's offense, it suits better to not have such a ball dominant guard. That's just me personally. Um, whereas in Utah, he kind of had to do that because Mitchell was really the only true scoring
Oh,
option. Whereas on
Harper.
the Hawks, he has more options with the Hawks,
Right.
right? In my personal opinion, but
Yep.
that could yeah, that could be a discussion for a different day. But anything else on the Hawks and the Heat before we like move on?
No, I think the Heat are going to win.